there was a lot of stories going around saying that Frank Lampard was going to relegate 2 clubs. And it turns out, look, Frank Lampard relegated no clubs. Everton just squeaking by on the last day as they did 12 months ago. Kind of miserable season. Sean Dyche came in, and actually of all the sort of emergency break glass for manager that might get you out of a sticky situation, he's the one that succeeded. You know, are they going to stick with him for the long term? I mean, how do you see the future of Everton? Because I think if they flirt with the bottom 3 again, I don't think it's going to go their way.
I think ultimately they need to do something drastic, Everton, because it's one thing staying up by a Rizla paper on the last day of the season. Last year, you know, we had those iconic pictures of Frank Lampard on the pitch, covered in, you know, blue smoke and flares and whatever, and it was glorious to see. Everton fans really can make a racket in Goodison when they want to, and they've done it again this year, but I'm afraid it's papering over the cracks. As a club, they're completely all over the place, and I think Frank Lampard gets a lot of stick, and a lot of it is justified. But I think if you look at the 2 clubs that he's managed and contributed to this season, I'd say that Frank Lampard, if you were to say 10 problems wrong with Everton Football Club, when Lampard was manager, Lampard wouldn't be on the list. And if you say 10 problems wrong with Chelsea Football Club, I still don't think Lampard's on the list. Look, his record is totally unforgivable, and I don't think that he should manage in the Premier League for a long time. I think that he should, if he chooses to manage again, I think it should be in the Championship and grow with a club in the way that maybe Vincent Kompany has done. But Everton are in total and utter disarray, and until they find out exactly why the mismanagement of that club is going the way that it's going, until somebody actually can tell me and quantify exactly what Bill Kenwright's role is in that club, for example. Why is the club so mismanaged? How do you manage to spend £500 million over the last 5 years and end up with a team that are like flirting with relegation every year? Until they can answer those questions, it's irrelevant, because also Sean Dyche, you kind of presented this as he got away with it, or he was the one that, you know, smashed the emergency glass and survived and did what he was supposed to do. I think that's quite generous on Dyche. They didn't accrue enough points, really. They didn't. They're safe because of they're safe because of terrible performances from the likes of Southampton and Leicester and Leeds, rather than because of the brilliance on display from Everton.
Yeah, I think Leeds completely falling off.
Patrick Bamford is
really
the reason that Everton are safe. Do you know what I mean? Like Patrick Bamford has contributed massively to Dyche and to Everton's survival. So I think until Dyche finds out some serious answers to some serious questions at boardroom level, Everton are going to be back here in 12 months' time unless something really drastic happens.
Yeah, and we heard on talkSPORT yesterday that our reporters there were surprised to find there was little accountability, and a lot of people involved at the boardroom level of Everton weren't even at the game.
Yeah, I mean, that is a microcosm of everything wrong with the club. Like, how can you possibly avoid that? Look, there may be something bigger. I remember that midway through this season, there was some issues that may have meant it was better for Everton's board to not be around because of the hostility aimed at them. And if that's the case, if they've stayed away maybe off the back of some advice, then that's a very different thing. But if they've stayed away because, I mean, not going to the game would suggest apathy. It would suggest having something better to do. And if you're on that board and you've got something better to do on a final day of the season with relegation a genuine possibility, I'm afraid that you're not fit for purpose.